everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a little tune, walk and talk, or twat as we called it for short. That's one for the trolls, enjoy that one. Yeah, so I'm out for a little walk on a lovely hot sunny day in the northeast. I've kind of come away from the coast a little bit because it's really busy. And this is a rarity. I'm probably one of the only blokes in the northeast right now walking around with a top on. So I thought I'd keep it on because this would go from YouTube to OnlyFans very quickly if my titties were out on camera. So that ain't happening. Don't worry about that. I've got the cap and the shades on. I'm just walking downhill on some gravel here through the back roads of the lovely coast of the northeast. So a few Newcastle things to cover. Just thought I'd get stuck into them. The first one is the strip launch. So we've all seen it. The strip launch has come out with the new sponsor on, Nufc, which was the worst kept secret in the world. We all knew that Nufc, the training ground sponsor, was going to be the sponsor of the kit. Some people are changing their opinion on it. I think it looks much nicer now with the sponsor on. I'm not going to lie, it looks a bit better with the sponsor on, but I still think the strip looks awful. To be honest with you, that blue line down the sleeves, I just don't understand why that's there. It looks like a barcode. I don't like the stripes, so it's not for me at all. I'm still not going to buy it. Doesn't matter if there's a sponsor on it or not. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not interested in buying it. A lot of people will, because if you make it, they will come. Certainly when it comes to merchandise for Newcastle United, that's how they get a huge revenue stream from the fan base. You make a strip, they'll come and buy it regardless. But I know the turnout for it in the club shop, or the launch to the official fan base, not the influencer crew, was very threadbare. I think there was more fans in your house right now keeping you cool than there was fans buying that strip when it come out there. Strip, going old Dutch there. It's the heat. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure it will be as popular as the club wants it to be, especially given the fact that they're not going to put the sponsor on for quite some time until they clear the backlog of the non-sponsored shirts. And I've got a feeling they may need to drop the price on that, because I don't know how many people are actually going to buy that, in all fairness, because it looks crap. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the strip. So moving on to some other stuff, some player stuff. Obviously Sandro Tonali is dominating the news still. All these noises that Spurs are going to be in from, they're going to bid 90 million or something like that, 85, 90 million. I've seen a few people talking about Sandro Tonali's situation. For what it's worth, Sandro Tonali's on holiday actually. He's on holiday, enjoying himself with his mates and his missus and his kid and all that, which you'd expect him to do when he's not playing football for a living. So he just seems to be enjoying himself, Sandro, so fair play. But I've seen a lot of people talk about this. Spurs, are they being used to coax a bid out from a so-called bigger club in the shape of Arsenal or City? And I do feel that is the case. And even some of the Spurs fans have said that they're getting flashbacks to the old Eze transfer, when it was obviously always Arsenal they wanted to go to, and then there was talk of him, signing a dotted line for Spurs, and then all of a sudden Arsenal come out and he's an Arsenal player. So I have a feeling this may be the same thing. But I said this the other night, I don't think anything happens with Sandro Tonali until Elliot Anderson's deal goes through to Manchester City. And in all fairness, Anderson's a great player. I thought he was one of the only players who played well for England the other night in a really disappointing performance. But if Anderson's worth 120 million, then Sandro Tonali's got to be worth 100. I'm sorry, he has to be worth 100. He's got years left on his contract. He's 26. He's Italian international. He's well thought of in terms of a top European midfielder. So why would you flog him on the cheap? You idiots like Jamie O'Hara on TalkSport trying to get you to sell him on the cheap. It's never going to happen. Just rage bait screaming down the camera. People have accused me of that before, and it's not the case at all. If I'm passionate and I'm upset about something and I'm giving you my opinion on it, that's different. O'Hara's just a clickbait, rage bait wanker, and that's all he is. And Cundy's not much better either, to be fair. That's TalkSport for you. It's just cheap pop, shitty, antagonistic media, and that's what they are. So yeah, I just ignore all that noise. But I don't think Tonali's going to go to Spurs. I think they're waiting for Arsenal or City to come out of the woodwork to buy him. I think City are waiting to get the Anderson deal done, then they'll turn their attention on City. That's big capital to outlay on two midfielders for Manchester City. 220 million and two midfielders, that's a lot. Especially when they've still got Rodri, unless Rodri's going to go to Real Madrid or something, which I wouldn't put that past it either. That could possibly be the case, and maybe Elliot Anderson and Sandro Tonali are them future-proofing their midfield going forward. So we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens when it comes to Sandro Tonali. But I don't think anything's going to happen soon. I don't think he's going to move soon. I think it'll be probably after the World Cup, or at least when England go out of the World Cup, because Anderson's future will be decided there, no doubt about it. And then I think that's where the price is set for Sandro Tonali, and for me, Newcastle have got to accept at least 100 million quid. I had a chat about it on the watch along. If he does go to Spurs, I'm going to be quite disappointed, because it's not for footballing reasons, it's just to get more bubble, get more money, and his missus wants a better handbag in London than she can get in the Metro Centre. And I just don't buy into that shit. I'm sorry, I don't. You know, he signed for Newcastle. Not only did he sign for Newcastle, but he couldn't play for a year because he was banned from something that he did wrong. I know it was a sickness and an illness. Don't have a go at me in the comments for that. Yes, he's sought help for it and everything else, but it was his mistake and his fault, and he got banned for it for that reason. So in that 10-month period, Newcastle paid this kid 6 million quid, which is 150 grand a week, for the 10 months he couldn't play. So I think he owes the club a little bit more respect than going to an also-ran team like Spurs, who, yes, they're in London, yes, they've got a massive stadium and Beyonce plays there and the NFL's there, but they finished 17th back-to-back in the Premier League. Has he got a chance of winning more at Spurs than Newcastle? Don't think so. Arsenal, City, yes, but not Spurs. So I think it would leave a real bad taste in the mouth if he went to Spurs, and I think the club need to wind this gushy fucking social media nonsense out if he does go to Spurs. Thank you for everything, Sandro. Little soundbite videos and that, shove it up your arse. If he goes to Spurs, who gives a fuck? No one's interested. It's a shit move, and a shit house move at that. So yeah, we'll see what happens with Tonali, but I think that's going to wait until at least England are out of the World Cup and Anderson's future decided. Now, on to my favourite one, Lewis Hall. So we've heard all these stories over the last few weeks, perpetuated largely by Manchester United content creators like United Stand, Goldbridge, United, and his little mate Beth on there, who's really obsessed with Lewis Hall. Actually, Lewis Hall may be doing well to take a restraining order out against Beth, to be fair. She's very obsessed with Lewis Hall. But they had Ben Jacobs on there. It looks like Millhouse and The Simpsons, which is ironic given the reference I'm going to talk about in a minute. And they were talking about Lewis Hall being unhappy in Newcastle, fun out Eddie Howe, all this bollocks. Some idiot in the Sun wrote that. Turned out to be total nonsense. Had to retract the story. But they had somebody on the United Stand the other day, and I'm not clipping up Beth because I don't like being clipped up myself, so I'm not going to do that to her. But he actually said Manchester United have no idea where these links to Lewis Hall have come from. Just shifting arms there because I'm getting a bit of a sore arm. No idea where these links to Lewis Hall has come from. And Beth's little face, God bless her, she looks so sad. She looked a little bit like, you know, that episode of The Simpsons where Ralph Wiggum tells Lisa he loves her and she screams at them, and then Bart rewinds it and says,
"You can actually pinpoint the second when his heart rips in half. And now."
Yeah, there you go. That clip. That's exactly what her little face reminded me of when I saw that. But that should really put that to bed, really, that Lewis Hall to Manchester United is utter fabricated bullshit. And that's what we're getting in the media now with the likes of Romano, Ornstein, all these other guys who are too close to the agents and the clubs. I said that in my last video earlier on the other day. I don't remember what day it is. The heat's getting to me. You know, these guys are just out there to fabricate stories and get more money for agents' clients, or get them transfers with agents and get big lump sum payments for signing on fees and transfer fees and all the other crap that goes with the horrible murky world of football agency. It's vile. You know, these guys are moving assets around. These aren't players. These are multi-million-pound investments for these guys. They don't think about, oh, where's the best place for this kid to go and ply his trade and become a better player. They think, oh, can I get this kid to move to a club, you know, and treble his wages and also treble my intake in terms of my commissions and everything else. So yeah, it's quite murky, to be fair. There's a Netflix documentary on the cards for sure on football agency. They're really get Louis Theroux on the case, expose these shit houses and show them exactly what they're all about, because I think they're the worst part of the game right now. They've ruined the game. They've over commercialised it. They've taken all the emotion away out of the game. I mean, I saw the Wolves Academy manager talking about how some agent told him they've got to pay 250 grand for a 16-year-old, or, you know, he's going to go to another club. And they were like, what? We can't pay that for a 16-year-old. But that's what these agents do. That's what they're all about. They're just, you know, they don't care about the player. They just care about the money. Shifted arms again now. So I don't know how people do this. I don't do this a lot. I hope to be able to get a bit more practice doing the old walk and talks. You know, my arms won't feel as sore. I did go to the gym earlier, so I'm blaming that. I was trying to be fit and healthy in the sun. I regretted it instantly because I felt like I swam to the gym. It was that hot and sweaty. But yeah, we'll see what happens, you know, with regards to all this noise. But the Lewis Hall thing, I never thought for a second Lewis Hall was itching for a move. I imagine he is disappointed how the season ended. I mean, I'd be disappointed and all if I wasn't playing left back for a 33-year-old centre-half, no matter how much he's loved by the manager and the club and the fans. And then I was playing right back, I'd be a bit annoyed. And then the England squad gets announced and you're not there. But it just goes to show you when Thomas Tuchel didn't call him up when, surprise, surprise, Tino Livramento was injured, which I could have told you that. It's like saying that plant's green over there. That's about as obvious as Tino Livramento getting injured. So it doesn't surprise me in the slightest, to be brutally honest with you, that Tino got injured on international duty. But the fact he didn't call up Lewis Hall shows you that the England manager's got an issue. But picking Lewis Hall, it's nothing to do with the Newcastle form at the end of the season. So that noise can go away as well. So hopefully we'll hear the end of that with regards to Lewis Hall leaving the football club this summer. But yeah, that's the two main things. But the other thing, there's more transfer links. As I said the other day in the watch along, I'm not really going to do any transfer links. I'm so disenchanted with the way Newcastle are doing their business at the moment, or lack thereof. You know, all these players we get linked to, I just don't see the point, you know, of Mark busting his arse doing all these great stats and, you know, that passes per 90 minutes and all that, when the club just can't seem to get it over the line. And the latest one that we've been linked to is an old name that's been regurgitated, and that is the Dutch wonder kid, Kees Smit. Looks like a young De Bruyne, plays a bit like a young De Bruyne, very talented player. Plays for AZ Alkmaar. 52 million quid is the fee for this kid. And surprise, surprise, guess who else is in from Liverpool? So manage your expectations there and don't get overly excited about that, because we all know how that story ends, don't we? But could Newcastle United convince Kees Smit that his future lies in St James's Park with that lovely barcode shirt and the blue stripes? Could they do it? I don't know. Have you got any confidence in them doing it? I haven't at the moment, in terms of who's at the football club. This is a huge window for Ross Wilson and the team. You know, I don't even blame the manager for that, to be brutally honest with you. You know, last summer everybody said, oh, you can give Eddie Howe a free pass because there was no back of house, there was no director of football, you know, there was no infrastructure above him to help sign these players. But when you look at it now, there is that there, you know, and they've had time to do that. They've had, what, 8 months there to set their stall out, you know, look at their targets, figure out who they're going to sign. So if they can't get it done this summer, then they're there to be judged by everybody, in my opinion. You know, and if they can't get the targets, and it goes the same way as the Victor Munoz deal did, we're going to be in trouble when the season starts. We really, really are. You know, there's some huge needs in this team. Goalkeeper situation needs sorted. You know, they've let go of 2 goalkeepers in the shape of Ramsdale going back to Southampton on loan, John Ruddy retiring, or moving on, whatever he's done. So he's gone. So you're only left with Nick Pope and Gillespie. You know, so they're going to have to get a goalkeeper in, and surely they wouldn't have done that. Yes, they've signed Evan Jowan from Lille, just walking under a tunnel there. Lovely little old back of kind of railway things, as you can see in the background there. Echo. So we've signed Evan Jowan, but he's a 20-year-old goalkeeper. He's not the finished article, so that's not really going to be the number one, unless we get very lucky and he ends up being a fantastic goalkeeper. But I do think they're still going to go for James Trafford. Maybe that's something that they can talk to City about once they come to the table for Tonali. So if they were going to give us, what, 70 million quid plus Trafford for Tonali, would you take that deal? I'd take that deal. I think I'd take that deal. You'd invest 70 million quid elsewhere in the team, you got yourself a number one goalkeeper in the shape of James Trafford. James Trafford wants to move. He's agreed to come to Newcastle 3 or 4 times over. So why wouldn't that move work for both parties? Maybe that's something that Newcastle are going to entertain. But if they accept the cash bid from Spurs for Tonali, then I just think the squad's weaker. And then everyone knows you've got 100 million burning a hole in your pocket, plus the 70 million for Gordon. I think they're going to jack the prices up. And before you know it, you're paying over the odds for players. So they're in a real sticky situation. There's other players being linked as well. There's the boy at Lille. Is he, what's he called it, Fernandez Mato, I think it is. And then there's the young lad from Cologne as well. Is it Said El Maya? But again, with these players, you've got Liverpool sniffing around them. You know, even Brighton, to be fair, there's some fly on my face there. That's what happens when you're outside recording. Even Brighton's got European football. And Brighton's got a great track record of progressing these young players and turning them into superstars and then selling them on to other teams for big bucks. You know, see Moises Caicedo, see Trossard at Brighton, you know. And, you know, even Ben White to an extent, he was at Brighton on loan at Leeds and then Brighton again, then off to Arsenal. So, you know, we haven't got that track record at Newcastle. So we've got a manager who's reluctant to play youth. So if you're a young, exciting talent, you know, and you see Nick Voltemade being benched and played out of position and Lewis Hall being benched for 30-odd-year-olds, you think to yourself, is that really the club for me? Is that really the manager for me to progress me as a player? So there is some real concerns about this behind the scenes. I'm not turning this into a Eddie Howe attack, but you've got to look a spade here. That, you know, Eddie Howe's reputation as a manager potentially has took a bit of a battering over the last 12 months. You know, which is mad given the fact he's won a cup and got his Champions League, and you know everyone consistently links him to the England job. But in terms of on the continent, the way we've handled the Voltemada signing, has probably not done him any favours, because the eyes of Europe will be watching him. Could be the same agents, you know, could have the same contacts, everything else, you know, and Eddie Howe might not be coming across in a good light to these players' agents potentially. But we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. But the lads are back in pre-season in the 13th of July, and they said they want their business done by then. There ain't long left, and Newcastle seem to struggle to get a single player over the line, let alone 3 or 4, which they probably need. Let me know in the comments below what positions you think is the priority positions for Newcastle. I still can't get past the goalkeeper personally. I think you need a right back. I don't want to see Lewis Miley at right back. I'm going to wait for the Tonali stuff to go off, because I think Lewis Miley is more than capable of stepping into Sandro's shoes and actually doing it better than the Italian, which I'll get into proper when Sandro Tonali leaves this football club, which I think is a when, not an if. It's definitely a when. But plenty kicking off for Newcastle, as always. Never a quiet day. World Cup is still going on. Mark and I are doing the watch-alongs. I'm very tired of them late watch-alongs. I don't mind the 9 o'clock ones, but the 11 o'clock ones, oof, make me very tired. But thank you for all the support, guys, you've given us through all the videos and the watch-alongs. Like and subscribe, keep it ever more, hype the video, ring the bell, do everything that you can. We'll try and do a bit more of these walk and talks. I like it, especially when it's sunny like this. You get out, get a bit of sun on you, a bit of fresh air, you know, get a bit of steps in, try and sweat the old man boobs off as you do, and obviously talk a little bit about Newcastle as well. I did love that, by the way, tune, walk and talk. I jumped that straight away and said to Mark, twat. So there's a lot of people who call you twat in your comments when you're a content creator. So there you go, that's one for you. This is a twat. It's a twatful video, isn't it? It's a tune, walk and talk. But thanks for watching, guys. Keep it ever more, have a belter. I'll see you later.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.